That's right, the acne bacteria that lives naturally in our skin has a heyday, and it says, nom, 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 nom. I want to eat all of this, and I want to take the largest. Why so much acne skincare is a scam, and why so many companies get away with either creating fake products or literally pushing marketing claims down our throats as people who are desperate with our skin. There are even reputable brands like The Ordinary, which I love, or CeraVe, which I'm not a fan of, that have reputable products, great ingredients, but aren't necessarily good for acne. And we need to talk about skin anatomy, how it actually works, the 4 ingredients that have been medically proven time and time and time again to actually help with breakouts, and why there are so many companies that are literally scamming you, lying to you, and trying to get your money. And let's start there. As someone who has struggled with acne for more than half of my life, and still does struggle, like, you do not want to see my back right now. Oh, are we getting emotional today? I understand how it feels to be desperate about your skin, to literally hate what you see in the mirror, and to just want to feel better, and like you're wishing and dreaming for clear skin, and you're washing your face multiple times a day, and you're changing your pillowcases, and then you're trying not to pick, but then you're stressed, so you are picking. And it can be this never-ending cycle that just makes you feel like you don't want to go out and face the world. There were times that I had to put layers upon layers and cake foundation and makeup onto my face to even feel good enough to walk upstairs to eat breakfast with my family. Because I felt, and this isn't true, but in my mind, like I felt like I was so ugly that me existing without makeup was ruining the life experience of those around me. And that I was like doing my family a disservice, and I was making their life like miserable just because I was alive with acne. Like that is how f***ed up things in my head were. And I would have panic attacks walking out the front door. While driving, I would have panic attacks at stoplights if I thought somebody else was looking at me. Horrible. And obviously that's not just skin, but that's also mental health. But like, holy shit, I lived that for so many years. And as someone who has now become a medical esthetician who works alongside doctors and dermatologists, I do know my skin better. Obviously, I've found things that work for me. And it's some of those things that I want to share with you because they are things that are medically backed. They aren't these random cockamamie claims that brands put on products. But here's the reason that they do it. Because look at how desperate 16-year-old me was. When you have something that is interfering with your life, stopping you from making friendships, from going and achieving new things, from living a helpful, productive human life, you are desperate to do whatever it takes to get rid of that. Wow. Human emotion. I hate how it feels to even remember what that was like. But for people who are that desperate, there are very scammy brands or even halfway legit brands that will see that desperation and they will offer you up a very expensive, nicely packaged little product telling you it's going to cure your skin. If you ever see the word cure and it's not coming from a medical professional, be scared, okay? That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is something that you know if you're subscribed and if you've been here, but it's turn and learn. Understand what's actually in the product. So here's the thing about the products, especially acne products, they can put pretty much anything they want on the front. Manufacturers and brands should not be making drug claims. They should not be saying this is a cure to anything, but some of them do. But on the front, like you can say it's a brightening serum, or you can say that it's an anti-pigment serum. But as a consumer, we're gonna look at this and we'll be like, well, brightening anti-pigment, they're telling me it'll work. I'm gonna spend a ton of money on it and buy it. SkinCeuticals. However, if you turn and learn that product, you can understand what the active ingredients actually are. Is there a vitamin C in that product? If so, yes, it can be brightening. It can be an antioxidant and help with pigmentation. But if we don't understand those ingredients and how the actives work and look at the medical studies that have proven that, we're just sitting here throwing our money at like the salesman in the mall who's like, give me your hands and your cheeks and I will show you how amazing my product is. Off, kiosk guy. Turning and learning is so essential, which is literally why this entire YouTube channel exists, to help you understand and feel empowered by your products, by your ingredients, and by the choices you make and the brands you put on your skin. And that's why it's also important to look for more reputable brands. So for example, CeraVe, reputable brand. They're not cruelty-free, so I don't personally use them. The Ordinary, another reputable brand. Both are great options, but they might not necessarily be great for acne unless you look at those ingredients. If you look at the Ordinary's AHA, BHA peel, and you know that BHA is the same thing as salicylic acid, and you look at CeraVe's salicylic acid cleanser, and you know that this salicylic acid, aka BHA, is medically proven to kill the acne bacteria that actually causes acne to exist in the first place, then you can say, yes, this is something that is worth my money, that I should try for my acne, for my skin condition. Whereas if you're seeing another product from The Ordinary, like our Giraline, looks great, or the CeraVe tub of moisturized cruelty that just sits there in a lump and balls up on the skin, and you're like, that. If you look and notice it doesn't have those active ingredients that are going to help with acne, those might not be the best choice for helping your acne-prone skin problem. And another product from the line that has the right active ingredients might be a great option, or a prescription, or another product altogether. Now, where this gets really scary is, again, these scam products. For example, Brian Turner is another person who has struggled with acne. I remember having my acne be so incredibly severe in like 2010, speaking about it online, and I came across Brian Turner's content probably like 2014, 2015, and it was so nice to see a guy who was open about his acne struggle. And thankfully, we've actually had the chance to meet up in person and talk about acne, among other things, and we've spoken about acne and mental health with his girlfriend, Sammy Grimm. Well, with Brian Turner, he actually had a company impersonate him. Literally take his face, slap it onto a product and say, "My name is Antoine Fisher. I'm a chemist from Columbia, Harvard, Yale School of Massachusetts Medicine, and I created this green tea stick that cures acne." And they put a whole bunch of ads behind it, and guess what? It sold. Because people are seeing Brian's face and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy is being open about his acne and this helped him? I'm gonna buy it too. But that product is literally a full scam. It's so scammy, we don't even know if the ingredients that are listed are indicative of what's actually being put in the product. And they're making a ton of money. I know, because I spent $80 trying to buy it, and guess what happened? They never shipped it to me. It was coming from China, just never came. I don't even think they shipped it. They were like, aha, order been placed. Never came. Those are the super scammy ones. And that's why it's important to actually look for reviews. Look, is this sold by a trusted retailer? Really try to do your due diligence. And again, green tea is good, it's a nice antioxidant, but there's nothing in this green tea mask stick that is medically proven to help with acne. And that's where we have to start looking at these 4 amazing ingredients. These 4 things that have been medically proven time and time again to help. Again, green tea is great. It's an antioxidant. Niacinamide is great. It can help with oil production. Argireline is great. It can help with wrinkles. But none of these items are going to help acne. And that's why I want you to literally screenshot, write down, and commit to memory these 4. Number 1 is salicylic acid. Number 2 is benzoyl peroxide. Number 3 is sulfur. And number 4 are retinoids. Now, if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know that these are an acne person's best friend. If you feel like you've tried everything the way that I did, but you were trying everything on product shelves without actually trying these ingredients first, yeah, it can feel absolutely overwhelming. Or if you know someone who feels like they've tried everything, send this video to them, screenshot this list, give it to them to try to help. Because these are the ingredients that have been medically proven time and time again by tons of science, placebo-controlled, double-blind studies that actually work and reduce acne. Now, please understand, there are ingredients or products as well that don't contain these that can be okay for acne-prone skin or can support acne-prone skin. For example, the CeraVe tub of cruelty, I don't like that one. There's not anything in here that's going to treat acne, but the ceramides in this moisture could be really good, soothing, and hydrating to put on after you've used a benzoyl peroxide cleanser or something that is a little bit more harsh. Or something like this Mixsoon sunscreen that has a little bit of centella in it could be very soothing, could help with the redness and protect you from the sun, even though there's nothing in here that's actually going to fight acne. So please keep that in mind, which is why it's important to learn about your skincare. And if you really want to do that, you can literally type in Cassandra Bankson sunscreen, Cassandra Bankson acne, Cassandra Bankson niacinamide, and we've probably done a video on it. But there are also many other amazing resources out there, from PubMed articles to peer-reviewed studies, from doctors to dermatologists to chemists to people who care about you understanding and embracing your skin. But all of that aside, let's get back to how these ingredients are actually medically proven to work. And again, if you are struggling with acne, start here first. You can start looking at other things like redness reduction or tea tree oil, which does have antibacterial properties, and you can look at those later, but this is where to start. And number 1 is salicylic acid. Salicylic acid is also known as BHA, and it's phenomenal because it's an oil-soluble type of acid. Remember that our skin is made up of and loves oil. It has something called the acid mantle, which is literally like a protective layer of grease that your body creates to protect you. The sebaceous gland produces sebum. Sebum is another word for skin oil, and the oil literally follows that little hair up to the surface where it allows that oil to go all across the top, and it helps to provide nutrients, it helps to waterproof you, it helps to prevent dirt and bacteria and pathogens from getting in, and it even kind of spreads antioxidants in an oil form. However, this oil is acne bacteria's favorite food. That's right, the acne bacteria that lives naturally in our skin has a heyday, and it says nom 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 nom. I want to eat all of this, and I want to take the largest And the acne bacteria does just that. After it eats the oil, it creates waste products. It farts and it poops. And those farts and poops cause inflammation. Now, what happens if you have bacteria eating oil and farting and pooping inside of your skin? Well, you can imagine that that's going to expand. It's going to get big like a balloon. Hi, welcome to the pimple that just showed up on your face or on your chest if your name is Cassandra. Salicylic acid works by literally being oil soluble, meaning the salicylic acid can get into that oil and get all the way down into the pore, even into this little sebaceous gland. And the salicylic acid is also antibacterial, meaning it actually kills the acne. As a triple bonus, salicylic acid is an exfoliator. It literally helps to exfoliate or remove the dead skin cells that pile up on the top level of our skin. They're technically called corneocytes, which is the dead version of our skin cells, which are called keratinocytes. And if you think of keratin, you're like, keratin, isn't that a protein that makes up our nails and hair? Yes, yes it is. You're a skintellectual. Look at you learning things. That salicylic acid does a triple whammy, and there are so many medical studies proving that salicylic acid works. In order to get salicylic acid over the counter, the highest you can get is 2%. But that's why it's important to turn and learn. Look at those drug facts. Do you want a 0.5%? Do you want 2%? Or if a product says it has salicylic acid or willow bark in it, is it less than 0.5%? So it doesn't even have to be disclosed on the back. Understanding this will help you actually make choices that are right for your skin. And if you feel like you've tried everything, but you're like, never used a product that has salicylic acid in it or a BHA in it, bam, baby. There you go. Now, what if you have tried salicylic acid? Benzoyl peroxide, honey. Benzoyl peroxide is another fantastic option, and it's specifically because of the way it works on that acne bacteria. The acne bacteria that lives inside of our skin, again, lives there naturally, but when it overgrows, it becomes a problem. But here's a little secret. This acne bacteria cannot exist in the presence of oxygen. It's anaerobic, an meaning not or without, and aerobic meaning, think of like aerobic exercise. It means like oxygen, right? So this is bacteria that is anaerobic or non-oxygen consuming bacteria. Oxygen literally kills the acne bacteria. So if we can get oxygen into the skin, it can kill the bacteria and say, bye-bye. And that's exactly what benzoyl peroxide does. Benzoyl peroxide can be a little bit drying. It's literally, think of the word peroxide like hydrogen peroxide. It's not exactly the same, but benzoyl peroxide literally has a peroxide link. And when it breaks, specifically when benzoyl peroxide is introduced to heat, like the heat that your skin and your body naturally create, it breaks that peroxide link and it literally brings oxygen deep into the pores and says, die acne bacteria. And the acne bacteria, it's like a fish. And when it gets into the air, it's out of its water, it's out of its oily little container. It goes, and it dies. Wow, that was so violent. I don't know if that was, what was that? Anyways, but benzoyl peroxide is fantastic, especially if you are super oily because of the way it works. Now, if we continue going down that list, we can't forget sulfur. I feel like sulfur is an unsung hero. It's so often forgotten when it comes to the treatment of acne, but it is so amazing. Sulfur is fantastic. It's, yes, an element on the periodic table, but it's often found in a lot of face masks. However, there are skincare cleansers, there are treatments, and even moisturizers that have sulfur in them. This is why it's important to always turn and learn. Now, the way sulfur works is that it can help to dry out pimples, but it's also transformed by the acne bacteria in your skin into hydrogen sulfide. Not hydrogen peroxide, remember we just spoke about that, but hydrogen sulfide. And this hydrogen sulfide kills acne bacteria. And as a bonus, sulfur is also antifungal. So if you have a fungal infection, it could help, and it also helps to kill scabies. So if you got scabies, like creepy crawlers in your skin, get it diagnosed by a doctor or dermatologist. But we don't know the exact mechanism of action or exactly how it works, but it seems to go in there and literally kill acne bacteria. Now, sulfur can be a little bit drying, a little bit irritating to some people, just the way benzoyl peroxide can be, but it is so fantastic in the way that it helps to clean out oil and get rid of that bacteria, treating acne at the source. And sulfur has been used in medicine for so many years. It is a fantastic option that is medically proven to work. And again, you can ask your doctor for prescriptions with some of these ingredients, or you can find products that are over the counter. But if you feel like you've tried everything and nothing works, ask yourself if you've tried sulfur, because there aren't a lot of products that have it in there, especially because it can smell a little funky, but it is such an unsung hero, especially when it comes to the treatment and management of acne. Now, you might notice there is that word on there, retinoids. Do you know what retinoids are? If you do, you're a skintellectual. You've probably been here. Hi, hello, great to see ya. If you don't, welcome to the family. Subscribe. Please literally type Cassandra Bankson retinoids, Cassandra Bankson retinol, retinaldehyde, tretinoin. And you can work about how this specific family of ingredients work, but retinoids are wonderful. And remember, the word retinoid is an umbrella term. Retinoids are basically vitamin A, and vitamin A can be very, very, very potent. The prescription stuff, which is called retinoic acid, all trans retinoic acid, or you can get the over-the-counter stuff, such as retinol, or even more powerful, retinaldehyde. Regardless of which one you get, they work similarly, just at different concentrations. They actually dive into the skin, and they literally tell your skin cells, hey, make more of yourself. Retinoids are fantastic. And yes, they help with acne, they help with scarring, but they also help with wrinkles and fine lines and pigmentation and rosacea. And vitamin A is made naturally by our body, which is why it is bioavailable. It is available for our body and our cells to consume. But retinoids literally go in and they specifically bind to certain receptors in our skin, the RAR and RXR receptors. This causes a chain of reactions to happen. Epidermal growth factor is stimulated. Specifically, there's a little layer right here called the stratum basal or the stratum basale. And this is where new skin cells are formed. Retinoids literally go in here and say, tickle, 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 Gucci, Gucci, goo. And it gets these layers of the skin to produce more thicker, healthier skin cells, and it actually plumps up the bottom of your skin while these top layers start to slough off. And that brings us to an issue because retinoids can increase redness. They can increase flakiness, especially if you use the prescription stuff and you put it all over your face and you leave it there. There's a reason that doctors say use a pea-size amount. There's a reason I know how painful this is as well, because for me, I'm like, the pea is totally the size of a quarter, right? If you use as directed, if you get it in a prescription or of the counter, and if you titrate, meaning you use it a few days a week and gradually increase, you can see amazing benefits from retinoids without as much of the irritation. And again, just search Cassandra Bankson retinization if you would like to see an entire video on how to introduce one into your routine. But retinoids are amazing, and they do help with acne scarring and collagen remodeling in ways that some of the other ingredients like benzoyl peroxide don't. Retinoids are fantastic. I personally believe they should be in almost everyone's routine, but again, if you have questions about this, ask your esthetician, your doctor, your dermatologist, get a prescription for the strong stuff, or start yourself getting some of the over-the-counter stuff and just making sure that you're taking pictures of before and afters, and make sure that you're patch testing before applying anything to your face. Now, out of all of these active ingredients for acne, these have been medically proven time and again. Now, there are others like azelaic acid. Azelaic acid is pregnancy safe and it's fantastic for acne, but it's not medically proven in the same ways or studied for acne in the same ways that these ingredients have been. Similar to tea tree, a lot of people look to tea tree when they have acne. Tea tree is antimicrobial and antibacterial. There have been some studies that show it can help, but it's not the same quality and depth of evidence that we've seen with these over here. So if you're struggling with acne, or if you know someone who is, turn and learn, baby. Don't get scammed by these companies who are gonna sell you tea tree WD-40 extra sparkly glitter unicorn paste, because that might look fun and the before and afters might look great, but especially if it's not coming from a brand that you recognize or that's sold at a reputable retailer, if you can't find reviews of it online, and especially if it doesn't have the ingredients that are medically proven to treat acne, the unicorn WD-40, miniature yacht motor oil, it can go ride around and water ski on other people's pores all at once, but you can say, nah, I'm gonna spend my money where I know it's actually going to benefit me most. I wish that I had this YouTube channel to look at when I was 16. I wish I had me as acne big sis Cass to just shake me by the shoulders and be like, stop putting the banana and the pumpkin on your face. I wish that I had someone to explain these things to me, as well as to help me work through my acne. My journey was a little slow. I was a late bloomer per se, but I eventually got there. And even now, when I literally have breakouts across my back, I can show up in a swimsuit or a backless dress and I can feel good. I can have scars across my cheeks and say, you know what? I'm not even wearing makeup today. I'm gonna sit here, show up, demand a seat at the table, and contribute to society and the people that I love around me. And the look that my skin currently has, the biology of my face, is not going to dictate whether or not I am providing value or bringing something beautiful to the world. So, a little passionate, I understand. I hope you know where I'm coming from, and I hope you now know what ingredients to actually look for and how to be a smart consumer based on medical science and understanding and embracing your beauty, so that you don't get scammed, or so that you just don't waste your money on really good products from good brands that aren't right for your specific acne-prone skin. Happy Acne Awareness Month, I am very aware of my acne, and I am also aware that I am making the conscious decision to no longer let it control my life. And BB, I hope you can do the same. Always remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Reapply that SPF, especially because SPF can prevent acne from turning into scars later on down the road. No one ever told me that again, and I wish they had. Anyways, always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. What you look like has no impact on what you can do for this world. Again, can't wait to see you in the search bar or in this next YouTube video. Love you guys. I really mean it. That's why I'm talking to you this way. Okay, I'm heated today. I love you, okay? Bye.